Hello, everyone. My name is Vernon Moore. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator. Welcome to One with the Force, presented by Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. A short episode today that I wanted to talk about how a red lightsaber is made. How a lightsaber with a red blade comes to be. Now, as we've seen in the history of Star Wars, those who embrace the dark side often use red lightsabers. So, a couple of years ago, the concept of how a lightsaber crystal becomes red was revealed to us, information that we did not know previously. Um, we just assumed that some lightsaber crystals are red. Well, it turns out that there are no naturally occurring red crystals. The crystals of lightsabers, also known as Kyber crystals, blue, green, yellow, orange, purple, and many other colors. But red is not a naturally occurring uh, condition. The darksiders do what is called bleeding a crystal. Bleeding in the sense of like blood. But the way that it works is a Jedi that turns, well, let me rephrase that. A darksider takes a kyber crystal and then they pour their anger, their hate, their malice, their passion, all their dark side qualities into that crystal. And the crystal turns red. And this is called bleeding a crystal. Now, the way it typically works is that a darksider will kill a lightsider, take that lightsider's lightsaber, and turn their crystal red. It's almost like a rite of passage of taking the crystal from the dead Jedi or other light side user and bleeding it till it turns red. The first time we saw this was in the Darth Vader comic book series a few years ago. During the Order 66 and hunting down all the remaining Jedi, Vader found a Jedi Master who had gone into hiding named Kirak Infala. He killed Kirak Infala, took his lightsaber, and then bled the crystal red and used it in his own lightsaber. Therefore, we can assume that pretty much every Darksider has had to do this at some point. Now, I imagine that some of them find a crystal and bleed it. But others of them, and I imagine it's more common that a dark sider kills a light sider, takes their lightsaber, and bleeds their crystals. I think that is more common. Now, we have seen this a few times in the canon of Star Wars. Uh, the Inquisitors do this with crystals. The High Republic Jedi Dagan Gera did this. And some of the Acolytes of the Beyond, Ben Solo, yes, even Ben Solo did. So it's a common practice. Now we've seen it in comics. It's been talked about in books, but we finally got to see it on screen in The Acolytes. Um, where when Osha makes her choice and embraces the dark side, without knowing it, she bled the crystal. It was Master Soul's lightsaber, who she killed. Yet again, continuing this idea of killing a lightsaber and stealing their lightsaber. But Osha did not bleed the crystal willingly. She wasn't even aware that she was doing it. But the anger that was flowing through her caused the lightsaber to go from blue to red. A wonderful visual metaphor. The visual metaphor of Osha's transformation represented in her lightsaber, or Master Soul's lightsaber. That was a brilliant visual metaphor. Now, can a red crystal be fixed? Well, the answer is yes. There is a ritual, a force power called purification. Usually, the results would be a white lightsaber crystal that you would bleed basically the evil out of it. And usually it would end up white. Ahsoka had two white lightsabers because she thought one of the Inquisitors, the sixth brother, she defeated him, took his lightsaber, which was actually a double-bladed lightsaber, I believe. And then she healed the red crystals, resulting in white lightsabers. She used several colors throughout her life, but this is why she has white lightsabers in Rebels and in live action. So anyhow, that's an interesting little thing of purifying a crystal and putting erasing all the evil, erasing the darkness that's in it. The crystals are naturally attuned to the light side. The crystals are alive in a way, and they are with the light side of the force. Um, and therefore they have to be bled in order to become dark side crystals. And apparently they resist it. Some crystals can resist it. And it demonstrates how strong a Sith Lord is, or a dark sider is, if they can bend the crystal to their will. So it's kind of a test in many ways. Um, Lightsaber crystals are often found in caves on various planets, particularly the planet Ilum. There's a whole storyline in the Clone Wars about young Jedi gathering their crystals. And it's really interesting. It's called the Gathering Arc. It's definitely one of the great story arcs of the Clone Wars. And we get to see exactly where the crystals come from and get to see how the younglings, I guess, find and get their crystals. Anyhow, those are my thoughts on the bleeding of lightsaber crystals and how a red blade comes to be. My name is Brendan Lara. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator. Thank you for tuning in to One with the Force, presented by Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.